How?
What have you
Yeah,
been doing, Kale?
Yeah.
Except hiding.
Also,
Yeah.
this is Nezrin. We used to have sex. Be jealous.
Yeah.
Queen of Shadows. Queen of Shadows.
This one was really good. I loved this book. What even happens in Queen of Shadows?
Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Taylor.
And this is Bookmarks, episode 4. Today we're going to be talking about the last two novellas in the Assassin's Blade and Queen of Shadows from Throne of Glass. So today we're talking about The Assassin and the Underworld, The Assassin and the Empire, and Queen of Shadows, book 4.
I have very minimal notes for these last two novellas.
So do I. Honestly, I feel like a lot of it is covered in Queen of Shadows. Like, there's a lot of recap that I sort of forgot.
Yeah,
So.
and definitely finishing these last two novellas, I do love how we read them this time. And it's like, The Assassin in the Underworld was great to read before going into Queen of Shadows, and then The Assassin and the Empire after Queen of Shadows, just like everything that happened in Queen of Shadows. These two novellas were just perfect to read before and after.
Yep, great end caps.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So I have a couple of notes. I hardly have any notes for the last one, but I have a couple for Assassin and the Empire. Underworld. Yeah. Where was I going?
The Assassin and the Umbra Mortis.
Oh man. Okay. So Selena just has come back to Rifthold after being with the Silent Assassins, and she has the money from the leader of the Silent Assassins to pay off her debt to Arobin and leave. And she gets back and she gives Arobin the letter. You know, she got the approval. So she's all set to be going off on her own. And the one thing I was struck by rereading this was it took me a while to process why she didn't just break up with Arobin the second she got home. Like, she let him kind of sweet talk her back in a little bit. Yeah. And at first I was sort of mad about it, but then I was like, wait a minute, it's trauma conditioning. It takes her a second. It's okay. She's a person too. She doesn't have our like third person view of the situation. This is the person who's been like her father kind of for a while, and so it makes sense that it's hard for her to like leave him right away, even if he's horrible, and she knows he's horrible. Yeah. He's great at gaslighting people. So
very good. He was just like apologizing from the second she got back.
Yeah, and he like love bombs her in a weird like assassin Selena way. Like, I bought you all this great stuff, and also there's a super cool mission that you're gonna really love, and it's just for you, and I'm not even getting any money for it. Like, what a butthole.
Yeah. And then Selena does eventually end up giving him the money, right? Or is that the next one?
I think it's at the end of the Underworld. She gives him the money and leaves after the mission like falls apart. Well, after she
and then also pays for Sam all of his debts and whatnot for him to be free also.
Yeah, she buys her apartment, and it takes her a minute to fully move into there until after. So she gets her mission from Arobin to what she thinks she's doing is like saving a bunch of people who are rebelling against the Empire. She thinks that these guys she's been set to kill have a list of names, which they do, but she thinks the list of names is going to be given like to the king or someone presumably to get these rebels. And these rebels who are also protecting slaves, which is why she's like personally invested, and that's how Arobin like hooks her. So she's like stalking where they're at and getting ready for that meeting, and that's during that time is when she kind of like, you know, gets more open, I think, with Sam for the first time. Finally, they're both kind of being honest about how they feel with each other a little bit more, since Selena's always been very like keeping him at arm's length. I love the scene when she gets caught doing some recon on the building and she gets put in the sewer, and then they like are draining the sewer and she almost drowns in that sewer grate, and her and Sam are like talking through the grate and he's like trying to get her out and she's like, take my body home to Terracin.
Right. I love that scene too. I think that is like my favorite, sadly, my favorite scene. It just like was so high stakes and like scary, and I really liked it.
Love it.
I remember vividly liking that one from the very first time I read it also. One thing also that I noticed later on, around page 283 in my copy of the book, when they are at Bardingale's like harvest party, Selena has an encounter with a masked man she says must be of nobility, and he has sapphire eyes. And then one of the four guys with him that is always kept near to the dark, or always kept near, is a dark-haired one. And I'm like, this is Dorian and Kale.
Yeah.
I loved that. And then they're like, I think it's her and Dorian who are flirting. And he goes, "What's your name?" And she leans close. "My name is Wind and Rain and Bone and Dust. My name is a snippet of a half-remembered song. I have no name. I am whoever the keepers of my fate tell me to be." Right, right. But I love that they
Selena,
were flirting at this party. They didn't even know who each other were. And then, all the circles, all the full circles.
top tier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I love that Sam was like, he was there witnessing the whole thing and he was obviously like jealous, but at the same time, just there for her. Like, he's like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Like, yeah, okay, make me jealous, whatever. But I'm here for you to make sure that you're okay because you're feel
Mm-hmm.
like getting kind of lit right now and I'm worried about you a little bit.
He was so sweet in this novella.
So sweet. And I love the introduction of his relationship with Lysandra here too, because I kind of forgot that Sam was kind of an advocate for her.
Yeah,
Because all I remembered really was that Aelin, Selena, really hated Lysandra when they were young and growing up, but I couldn't remember why.
same.
And I totally forgot that Sam kind of was like always trying to sort of protect Lysandra as much as he could.
Mm-hmm.
And one of Lysandra's only friends was Sam. I totally forgot that.
Mhm. I also forgot a lot of I guess, yucky stuff between Arobin and Lysandra, and just like the way he acted and him using like Aylin's treasure that was given to him to buy her freedom to win Lysandra's virginity bidding. That was like so yucky.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
completely forgot that happened. But I mean, I believe it. I'm not
Yeah, totally.
surprised.
He's a nasty, nasty dude.
Also, in the last podcast we did, I think we were trying to remember what happened to Casita, the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
we found out Aelin sold Casita, I think, to buy Sam's freedom in that. Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. That was a rough scene to read too because she didn't realize who she had sold the horse to until after it was already done.
Hmm.
And then she had put all those final pieces together about Arobin betraying, like, again, betraying her and giving her this mission under false pretenses and her doing something she wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And then this person, uh, Bardingale, being in on it too and being terrible. And she
Hmm.
had just sold the horse to her to free Sam.
Yeah. That's pretty much all the notes I have, sadly.
That's pretty much it too. Yeah, for that one. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
short and sweet. Um, and also just a lot of that is kind of recapped and brought up again in Queen of Shadows, but star rating. Obviously, again, spice 0, no
Hmm.
spice. Star, what would you give it?
I would give this one like a 4. I really like this one. This one has a
Yeah,
lot more, I guess, like stuffing or filling or whatever for me to be able to recommend it to someone.
totally. I think so too. I think this is a 4, maybe even a 5, just because of some of the scenes with her and Sam. I love those so
Yeah.
much. But
Hmm.
4 or 5. This is a really good one. Um, Ranking out of all the novellas, I think for me, this is probably my favorite out of the first 4.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I
so.
agree. I think it would go, yeah, The Assassin in the Underworld and then The Assassin in the Desert for me.
Yes. I think I would agree. And then the bottom I think is Assassin and the Healer for some reason. And Assassin Pirate Lord would probably be number 2 if I was like ranking them top
Yeah.
to bottom. But Assassin and the Healer is still good. It's just my least favorite out of the novellas, I think.
Hmm. Okay, are we ready to move on to the Empire?
Yes. Sorry, I forgot already. I was
No
going to the
worries.
book. So Assassin and the Empire. So again, this is taking place right after Assassin in the Underworld. So, but we're getting like flash forwards to when Selena is on her way to Endovir, and then flashbacks to what happened right after Assassin in the Underworld. So she had, she had just freed Sam. Her and Sam were living in the apartment, and then she ends up being betrayed, and Sam is killed. and she goes to prison. Sets up for
Yeah.
the beginning of Throne of Glass. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. With this one, I feel like you go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was interesting reading this one right after Queen of Shadows because I forgot kind of like Wesley's involvement in or lack like him trying to help her because
Mhm.
from Selena's perspective in Assassin and the Empire, it's obvious to see that she doesn't see that Wesley's like trying to stop Arobin. Um, so it's just kind of cool to see that back to back with Queen of Shadows when we get Lysandra's letter from
Yeah.
Wesley that he was trying to help her and Sam and just failed to. But that struck me a lot.
Yeah. And then the way that this novella is written, how it has like the afters and the before and then the after and whatever, I feel like it made it a lot more deep, I feel, to have like this very first page of, her in the prison wagon heading that way. And then yeah.
Absolutely. Also, reading this right back to back with Queen of Shadows, I think is such a perfect order because we have in Queen of Shadows just visited Sam's grave, and
Mhm.
then we see his demise on page, and his death is one of the most heartbreaking of the whole series. Um, his might be the most heartbreaking for me. I don't know. Sam is just ugh. It's
It
so
was
sad when
very
Sam
sad.
dies.
Mhm.
And it just really sets up Selena, Aelin, her character arc, how protective she is of people, and like even makes it more heartbreaking when you think back on Nehemia's death again, because Sam died first. She'd already dealt with all of that, and it kind of gives a little
Mhm.
bit more perspective to when Selena just totally flies off the handle when Nehemia dies, because she just can't do this anymore.
Then I guess another thing that happened on page-ish 382 in mine, when Selena is at the vaults and she notices the chest next to Farron, um, when she comes back to Rifthold in this book in the very beginning, I remember she cracks open that chest to make all the patrons in the vaults go crazy, and that's when she takes down like the vaults and destroys that and whatnot. And I really like that connection because I
Yes.
feel like there's a very big emphasis put on in here about this chest. Otherwise, like why would this chest be being brought up?
Right.
And then yeah, she uses the chest in this to make everyone go crazy. So she can destroy the vaults.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked that connection. Okay, and I have no other notes other than like how sad it was and Arobin's a piece of poop and
Yes, I don't really have I mean, obviously this novella is the saddest because Sam dies, and as far as chain of events goes, I mean, we get pretty much all of it recapped in the first 4 books of the main series. So there's
Mhm.
not a lot of new information other than seeing it kind of firsthand, and then those little nuggets like you were just talking about the chest. Um
And the clock on the mantle, that was brought up a lot in both books, the clock on the mantle that Aelin throws when she finds out that Sam has died, and then she talks about the clock and how it's no longer there in this book, and someone had cleaned up the glass, and we know that's Arobin.
Yeah, right. This is even after rereading both of these again, this is something I still don't quite get Arabin's motive because yeah, it's like he
I think
wants her,
it
but he wants to be able to control her because it'd be so much easier for him if he just killed her, right? But he doesn't. He
Mhm.
like psychologically tortures her, kills people close to her, takes away her freedoms, and then sends her to Endovier. Oh, and she meets I forgot also that she had interacted with the king, like, right as she's heading out the door for her, like, sentencing.
Yeah.
Um,
I actually have an answer for you about
okay,
why, and
great.
he literally just says, "Because I don't like sharing my belongings."
Okay.
He's just crazy.
He's just a
He's just
possessive
obsessed with her.
piece of crap.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh, it's
Yeah,
icky.
it's when him and Farron are, like, on a roof somewhere, and Farron's like, "Why did you do it?" "Because I don't like sharing my belongings."
Because did Arabin know from the beginning well, he knew Selena was Aelin since the moment
Mhm,
he rescued her as a child. That's very clear in Queen of Shadows that he knew the whole time. This is the heir
mhm.
to Terrasen. So obviously he'd want to keep her close. But he didn't know about, like, the rings and stuff yet. Like,
Mm-mm.
so his whole being able to literally control her isn't available to him until later on. So, yeah, he's just a possessive piece of shit.
Yeah.
He sucks.
He sucks a lot. I'm so
It
glad he
makes it
dies. I'm so glad he dies.
I was just gonna say, it makes his death in Queen of Shadows so much more satisfying. Oh my god.
It really does.
Oh, okay, last thing I just thought of right before we move on to Queen of Shadows is the one thing that you really take away too is, like, when, Sam is using her soap between this one and Queen of Shadows, because
Yeah.
in Queen of Shadows with Rowan, she's, like, letting him pick, and he picks the one that Sam would've, like, was using that Selena was like,
Mhm.
"Don't use my special fancy soap, it's mine." And then with Rowan, she's like, "No, I need to make sure that I give you the nicest stuff." Um,
Mhm.
ugh, my heart.
Yeah. I have tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
It was so sad.
Ugh.
Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 4 because it's not my favorite, but it's still super vital, and I still love it, but I also hate it at the same time because it's so painful.
Yeah, I will also give it a 4. I feel like I really liked having that, um, I guess that info for sure, especially going into where, Throne of Glass starts and whatnot. I can't get over it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and it's a perfect segue because it leaves off as she's going to Endovier, and then Throne of Glass begins with her getting out of Endovier. So,
Mhm.
do we think that Arobin was ever gonna try and get her out of there?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah, I don't, because, like, most people die. It's amazing that he was like, again, that he, like, was like, "I'm gonna send you to Endovier," rather than just killing her, because most people would have died there.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a guarantee for him that she wouldn't have been killed super quickly going there. He just sort of was, like, on a hunch, like, "Oh, I'll probably see her again."
Yeah.
Great. Arobin sucks. Hashtag Arobin
Mhm.
sucks.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on.
Yeah.
Queen of Shadows?
Mhm.
Queen of Shadows.
This one was really good. I loved this book. What even happens in Queen of Shadows?
Recovering emotionally. Um, so Aelin is coming back from Wendelin. She's asked Rowan to stay in Wendelin. I don't even remember exactly why, other than he'll have, like, he won't be able to hide, or shift, or use magic in Rifthold. So she tells him to stay in Wendelin, and she goes back to Rifthold, and it begins with her basically spying on Arobin and sort of getting, like, little snippets of her plans that are upcoming. And Dorian is currently possessed by a Valg, and Kaol is sort of helping the rebellion, being a little butthole at the beginning. I have some bones to
Mhm.
pick with Kaol, but by the end, I got over it. But he's
Yep.
helping the rebellion. We get introduced to Nesrin, who is on the King's Guard as well, but she also knows Kaol from a while ago, I guess. But we're introduced to her, and Adian is in prison, about to be
Mhm.
executed.
On the prince's birthday.
Yes, on the prince's birthday. Oh, and then we keep having flashes to what's going on with Manon and her 13 in Morath and all the evil that's going on there. And then we're introduced, I think this is when we're introduced to Elide.
Yes.
Lorcan is in this book,
Mhm.
and get to see her connections to Aelin and what's going on with her. I think
Mhm.
that's where we start out pretty much.
Yeah. Mhm.
So we find out that Kaol has been meeting with Arobin, and I don't even remember why now at the beginning, why she's meeting with him. Trying to get information, I think, um, on Dorian and Adian. I don't remember why she's meeting, why Kael's meeting with Arobin, but he
I
is.
don't remember either.
Yeah, and obviously I don't think it was super
I
important.
feel like it wasn't really important. I feel like
Yeah,
they were
there,
just trying to exchange information in like a weird way.
yes. And they're in the vault that then Selena meets with Arobin as well, and then she proceeds to, and he, like, sort of acts like he's gonna help her, and he sort of does, but in a way of, I'll help you if you help me. So he makes sort of a deal with her of, I'm gonna help you get Adian out, but you're gonna bring me a Valg alive so that I can see what the heck is going on. He's sort of pretending he doesn't really know. Maybe he doesn't exactly know, like, what these creatures are in his city, but he's like, I want information. I need to know what they are. So you're
Mhm.
gonna bring me one, and I'm gonna help you rescue Adian, sort of. And then she destroys the vault area, the brothel place, the drug brothel place that they're all
Yeah.
meeting in. Yep,
And
that was pretty cool.
that's where Sam was tortured originally, right? Tortured at the vaults and then brought to Arabin at the keep. Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Mhm.
Are there
And then
any
that's
tables in
it.
there? Sorry. I just remember you mentioning the table thing when we were talking
Oh,
about.
I think yes, in the like in the back rooms, where they torture the people. I think so, but I don't. Unfortunately, and fortunately, we did not get a vivid scene of Sam being tortured. So
Yes, it would have crushed me. I couldn't have handled it.
yeah. So yeah, she destroys the vaults and then her and Kale catch up and he's like a brat in the
He
very
made me
beginning.
so mad in the first couple of chats. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, Kale?" He's like, "Sorry to just like interrupt you. I'm so mad about this because I forgot how bitchy he was when she came home. He's just
Mhm.
like, all these people are dead and it's your fault and blah blah blah. Everything is your fault. How dare you?"
Yeah, and
And
he was freaking
she's
out that she didn't bring like backup from Wendland. It's like,
yeah. How?
what have you
Yeah,
been
he's
doing, Kale?
Yeah, yeah, and then she
Kept
kinda throws in
hiding.
his face like, yeah, she's like, "Oh, so Dorian got captured and you ran away?" Like, she kinda throws it back at him a little bit, and he's like, "Whatever, I'm rescuing people, blah. Also,
Yeah.
this is Nezrin. We used to have sex. Be jealous."
And then eventually Rowan comes back. They free Adian, which is my favorite scene in this book, I think. I love that so much and how it happens. And then her and Lysandra scheme to kill Arobin, and that happens. And I love that her and Lysandra are friends now.
Yes,
They find out that she is a shifter.
so
I
cool.
don't I don't remember what the technical term is if there is one, but that is very cool.
I think it might just be Shifter.
Yeah. And then Manon is getting suspicious about what's going on in Morath, and then she does some research with her 13 about like the Vogue, and they come to the conclusion that this is not what they want. It's not good. And the Duke is trying or is successfully putting little Vogue babies inside the witches. What else even happened?
We find out that Elide has witch
Oh yeah,
ancestry. I don't know. I guess she says Blackbeak, doesn't she? I don't think
I
she
think
says
so.
witch, like Blackbeak specifically. So that's why Manon sort of decides to take her under her wing.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of like dissent going on within the 13, which we don't quite get why until the end. But because mostly we see it from Manon's perspective. Like, Asterin, basically, her second, is kind of super not cool with everything that is going on in
Yeah,
Morath. And her grandmother is being a biatch. And Manon's just kind of trying to like keep shit under control, but also doesn't really like what's going on, but is having a hard time dealing with that because everything she's been told is basically just to obey and be tough. So
yeah.
she's struggling with that.
Hmm.
And a
And
lead,
then
poor lead.
yeah, poor lead for real. And then Caltaine has her moment and destroys the bottom parts of Morath.
Yes, with her shadow fire.
Yes.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. So we finally find out like what the heck is going on with Caltaine fully, and why the Duke has been so obsessed with her, and it's because she's had this magic,
Hmm.
and her like headaches and stuff. I think were like it almost seemed like early stages of them trying to figure out how to control her, and then by the time we get to Queen of Shadows, they've figured it out, and it's
Yeah,
very now we're getting her to use her magic, and yeah, it's this like shadow fire, which seems very scary to me.
it
What a scary
does.
power.
Yeah. That's like scarier than Aylin's power.
Yeah, it like burns them without it's like internal. It's like a visible
Yeah.
fire.
Hmm. And then yeah, Rowan comes to Rifthold. How does this book end?
Well, so Rowan comes and then Lorcan can yeah, also comes. I get and they make a joke of this later in the series, but I get him mixed Lorcan and Locken because the lead Locken
Hmm.
yeah, I
Lord
get this.
Lorcan Locken at the end of the books.
Yep, yep. So I get this mixed up. But Lorcan follows Rowan to Rifthold basically to track Aelin, and he's trying to get a hold of What does he want?
I think he wanted the word keys. I mean, word
Right. Okay.
stones.
Oh,
Word keys?
yes. Right. And then because he knows that Aelin knows, he kind of figures out that Aelin knows where one of them is, and we learn that it's her amulet from Orinth, and that Arobin has had this whole time. And also, Lorcan tells us about the ring that Aelin gave back to the Maeve. Thank you, and that it protects you basically from like Valg influence,
Yeah.
and that she had given it back to her, not knowing that it had that power. And he's like, "Why didn't you? Why do you think it was hidden in the scabbard?" And Aelin's like, "I kind of got a lot of stuff to deal with. I can't think about everything."
Yeah. Um, and then
We find out that Dorian's been like fighting this Valg, so he's still in there. And because Aelin is sort of like, he's a goner, we should kill him. It's going to be a mercy to just kill him. But Manon is able to detect that he's still in there.
mhm.
Um,
And then
my
leaves that message for Aelin.
Yes, I love that she just calls her out witch killer, and
Yeah.
that's how she addresses her.
Mhm.
The scene when Aelin and Manon fight is probably my favorite in this book. It's so good because
That was
I
a
just
good
love
one.
that like mutual respect that comes out of it. Like, you
Mhm.
fight pretty good, and your friends seem to like you, so I won't kill you.
Yeah. And then yeah, Manon giving back the favor, I guess, of not being killed by Aelin, and then telling her that Dorian is still alive inside, even after the Vogue prince who's trying to take his body.
Yes,
Okay. Are we ready to get into it?
yes,
Okay. One of the things that I noticed at the end of Assassin in the Underworld, Selena was mentioning that Arabin never tried to be romantic or have a romantic relationship with her. And then now, very early on in Queen of Shadows, A- Arabin continued to pin her with that lover's gaze. He brushed a kiss against her cheekbone, his soft lips and his lips soft and warm. And I'm like, that's gross.
it's so gross, dude. He's just been like grooming her. Ugh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah. Arobin's death is super satisfying.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the room where they find they go to the shadow market because she thinks that that one vendor has been selling the blow up stuff, whatever it's called, I
Mm-hmm.
forget. And they find that like tomb where that stuff is. Not tomb. It's like a temple. What does she call it? Like but it's to like the god of truth, I think.
Is it like a
But
catacomb?
yeah, it's like a catacomb,
Something.
an ancient, but it's clear that it used to be like a temple to this
Mhm.
god, and everything is carved. It's like all these truths are carved into the bones that are in the walls, and I could not stop thinking about the correlation to the bone carver in
Mhm.
Akatar that whole time. I'm like, is this the
Yeah.
same
And I think
creature? Like,
early on in one of the earlier books of this series, Kale was talking about like the truth teller or whatever, and how they would collect bones under the castle. I think he was kept under the castle and he would collect bones or something like that. And then yeah, we see all these bones in this catacomb type thing where they find what did they find? What were they looking for?
the blow up stuff, the stuff to blow up the castle, some kind of
And
fire.
then isn't it like the God of Truth or something?
Yeah, yeah, basically.
And then we have like Truth Teller. Was that in Akatar? Truth Teller? Like the sword? Or is
No,
that the sword of Orinth? Is
I
Truth
think
Teller the sword of Orinth?
I'm pretty sure. And the
Okay.
Sword of Orinth, I think, has a bone scabbard too.
Yes, yeah. And then what is it that Azrael has? His knife. What is his knife?
I'm gonna ask the internet. What is Azrael's knife? Yeah, Truth Teller.
Yeah, and then Bryce in Crescent City also has something that goes along with Truth Teller because she brings it when they have their crossover.
Right.
Yeah. So this was a cool connection.
Yeah, we better get some more definitive stuff in these upcoming SJM books linking these. I need some of these dots to be checked off.
Yeah. So we can all just stop. Really. Stop being conspiracy theorists.
Yes. Yes. Because if she's just like, if they're like not linked together and it's just a happenstance, I'm going to be upset. Because this feels
Yeah,
like intentional. This
it
feels like, come
does.
on. They're so similar, they have to be
Mhm.
linked.
Yeah, and then another connection, um, w so we read The Assassin in the Underworld before reading Queen of Shadows, and then she's talking about going down in the sewers, and she talks about how she hated them ever since she had been bound up and left to die, courtesy of a bodyguard who hadn't taken so well to her plans to kill his master. And so
Yes.
that was the scene you and I both really liked in The Assassin in the Underworld. And I just really like these connections and like the going back and forth and whatnot. And this book is just so crucial to the whole thing. Everyone has to read it.
Yes. Well, and then when she's in the pits and Arabin's like, "I'm gonna have you fight," and whatever, and she pretends to be Ansel of Briarcliff. I
Hmm.
love that connection too.
Yeah, my next notes are around like page-ish 48. It's chapter 7. And in my notes it says Kayla's getting annoying. And this is this is when we were talking about how like they first came in contact and he's just like bitching at her because she didn't bring back help. She came back empty-handed and he was the beginning of this book was hard.
Yeah, I mean, because everybody knows the rumor that Aelin just killed 3 Valg and, what's his name? The really bad Valg guy. Like, so Kale knows that she was, like, doing stuff,
Yeah.
and he's still like, "Well, why didn't you get Queen Maeve's help?" Ugh,
Hmm.
he's such a butthead in this one. He kind of apologizes towards the end, but I'm still like, "It's not enough. You need to be better, dude."
Um and then my next notes are at chapter 13. Do you have anything before that?
13? No, I don't think so.
Okay. A little clue that we get before we find out that Lysandra is even um, a shifter and has these magical powers. She is talking to Aelin and she just says, "Please, you and I are nothing but wild beasts wearing human skins." And I think this is also before she even knows that Aelin is Aelin.
Oh, yeah.
Was she calling her
When
Selena in this?
when does Lysandra find out that she's Aelin? I don't remember. That's obviously gotta be during this book sometime, but
It is. I think it's right before their meeting or right after their meeting with Arobin when like Kale and Rowan or Adian and Rowan go with Helen to the Assassin's Keep. Their like final meeting that they have right before Arobin dies is I think when she finds out.
that she's Aelin. Okay.
Because I remember her coming back to the house after that meeting and her being like, "You never told me." And then she's like, "I didn't know if I could trust you fully."
Right. We kind of been fighting for our
Yeah.
whole adolescence.
Hmm.
Last time I saw you, I threw a knife at your head. Yeah, Lysandra is a MVP of this book for sure.
Hmm.
And I love that I think Rowan says something at one point. I don't remember exactly when, but something to the effect of like, "I'm so happy that she's found a female friend," and really just like loves that he's just such a champion for her in all
Hmm.
the ways. Rowan, love him.
Yeah, I also think Sam would have loved that they were friends.
Yeah.
They could have all
Oh,
been like the 3 best friends that anybody could have.
I know. I knew it was coming, because, but I still sobbed when she went to Sam's grave, and it's so sad when she's talking to Sam, but I don't know why it hits me way more when Rowan comes up and just softly, like, puts a rock on Sam's grave too. I cry so hard every
Yeah.
time.
Like, the compassion he has is so sweet, even though he was a dick in the beginning.
Right.
It makes up for him being a dick in the beginning.
Yep.
Another thing I really love is when Adian finds out that Aelin has been spending this time with Rowan, he's talking about how she had befriended one of the greatest warriors in history, perhaps the greatest warrior alive. Your father and his men all told me stories about Prince Rowan, and warriors in the north still talk about him. So Adian like really has a man crush on Rowan,
Yeah.
and everyone
Yep.
in their family like had this man crush on Rowan, and
Yep.
here we are, Aelin and Rowan together, and I just really love that. I think that's kinda funny, kinda cute.
Yes.
I also felt so bad for Adian in this book. He so badly wanted to swear the oath to her, and when he found out and her like, omitting the information that Rowan had already sworn it, I felt so bad for Adian. I've always loved Adian, even, like, throughout throughout.
Yes.
I loved him.
Yeah. Well, especially because we find out that she has been worried that, like, Adian wouldn't even accept her, after
Mhm.
everything she's been doing, and then we've learned that he's never lost faith in her and always wanted this still.
Yeah, and
Um
he's also kind of just been doing what he has to do to survive and get by the same way that she
Yes.
did.
Then we learned that, like, in Terrasen, traditionally, like, only one person would take that, but then she's sort of like, "Well, I mean, yeah, Rowan took it because I didn't even know, what was going on with you, but, you can take it too. We can
Yeah.
change things." I get why he's upset, though, why he's initially like, "Well, whatever. I don't wanna be second. I wanted to be first."
Yeah, I completely understand too, especially since this is something he's been dreaming of since he was a kid, and him and Ren would fight about it, and it was ultimately decided that it would be Adian, and this is like the one thing that mattered to him. Poor Adian.
I know, because the blood oath is sort of like there's a like, it's symbolic, and it's very meaningful in that, but there's kind of, like, a magical element to it, I think, as
I think so.
well. Like, they're connected more
Mhm.
deeply.
Yeah.
Which brings up too, because at this point, Rowan is the only one who's taken the oath. When Aelin gets hurt at the end, Rowan can, like, feel it, that
Yeah.
she's in physical danger, and I don't know if that's supposed to be foreshadowing to stuff that we find out later or if it's part
And
of, like, the blood oath thing.
that's a great question.
Because I feel
I
like the blood oath is sort of like it kinda makes it seem like you would know if the person you've sworn it to is in danger in that way, like in mortal peril, because
Mhm.
you've given your life for them. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, another thing I have is on chapter 30 is Dorian's chapter, and so it's kind of like the demon inside of Dorian and Dorian kind of fighting and whatever. And the demon is speaking inside of him, and they're talking about crowns and the things they've collected down beneath the castle. And I'm going to read this. It says, "The crowns of the conquered nations," the demon prince said. "More will be added soon, perhaps the crowns of other worlds too." Dorian did not care. And then the prince says, "You should care. You will enjoy it as we rip the realms to shreds." And so with that, I'm thinking of like all the crowns in like all these other worlds. So we've got Akatar and Crescent City, and we do have that crown that Nesta does Nesta have who got the crown? Someone got the crown. There's the crown, the mask, and a harp, yeah. So I feel like that is a connection right there, and then perhaps the crowns of other worlds too, and you'll enjoy it as we rip the realms to shreds. I think what we have coming from SJM, if she's able to write it down, if she's not, like, completely overwhelmed by everything she's already created, I think it's going to be magnificent.
That's probably why it's taken so long to get the next one. Because, well, 1, there's, like, a ton of pressure for it to be,
Mhm.
like, very good. But, yeah, also, if she is bringing all of this stuff together from these 3 worlds, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay, another thing I forgot, I'm now going, like, into the second half of the book, so I don't know if you have any notes before that.
Mm,
I'm going to
no,
chapter 50.
I think we went through the stuff where we're at so far.
I forgot all about Roland and Roland going to Morath with, like, Duke Parrington and everybody. Completely forgot about this. So, there's this point where Manon and the 13 come into contact with Roland. His eyes shifted, turning green, turning clear. It was with a young man's voice that he said, "Kill me, please, please kill me. Roland, my name is Roland. Tell my," and then he dies. Well, I mean, he turns back into the Valk, and then he dies. And I forgot Roland completely. So this is so sad knowing this is Dorian's cousin. He was sent to Morath instead of Dorian. He was obviously given a ring and then taken over by this prince or other Valg person, and he's literally begging to be killed. And then I so want to know what he's about to say when he says "tell my" and then gets cut off.
I think I, like, breezed through that I didn't even, like, register that that was the person from Crown of Midnight.
Mhm.
Wow. Maybe tell my cousin? I don't know.
Right?
Wow.
This book.
Wow, great catch. Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely forgot. Poor Roland too. Ugh.
Yeah, he just dies. Well, I mean, that's what he wanted, but
Yeah. So he must have had some magic too then. I never thought about that, like, if he was given a ring. I
yeah.
guess he's related to Dorian, so I guess he would. I don't remember exactly when this took place, but whenever maybe this was in the first half already, but a note that I have that we haven't talked about is when Lysandra's disclosing that she's a shifter, and then she talks about how she got stuck in that form that she was in, and so she doesn't even remember like what her regular form
Yeah.
would have looked like. Oh, that broke my heart a little bit. She's
Yeah,
like, I
that
don't
was
know.
so sad.
Like, I don't even know what I would have looked like before, like what my normal face would have been.
Do you think if she has babies that they'll look like her or look like the skin she's currently in?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Because if we're using like ACOTAR rules, then it's whatever form she's currently in.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Maybe that'll be
be
revealed.
interesting. Mhm. And then I'm now at the part where Aelin and Manon are fighting after they're trying to rescue Lysandra from the wagon and whatnot. And we're talking about tugs, and we have a lot of tugs throughout this series. It says, Aelin had felt it before, a thread in the world, a current running between her and someone else. She'd felt it one night years ago and had given a young healer the money to get the hell off this continent. So that's Irene. She'd felt the tug and it had decided to tug back. Here it was again, that tug, toward Manon, whose arms buckled as she collapsed to the stone. Her enemy, her new enemy, who would have killed her and Rowan if given the chance, a monster incarnate. But perhaps the monsters needed to look out for each other every now and then. I really like that part. And now I'm just like, what are these tugs? Like, oh, but then to go on to that, also, Manon also feels a tug towards Rifthold when like this battle is happening between the king and Dorian and Aelin. Manon feels a tug and she is sent to Rifthold. And I don't remember if she has a does she help in that?
I
I
don't
don't
really
think
remember
so.
Manon being
I
a part of
think
that.
I think she just shows up on Dorian's doorstep or like window step balcony thing. Um,
Yes.
that's what happens when she feels that tug. And I'm like, so
Yeah, what
I think they're mates. I think they're fated mates because why is there this tug between Manon and Dorian? And then also when Dorian was like fully entranced in this Valg thing and like really couldn't come forward, Manon got him to come forward.
that's
Um,
a good point.
yeah, and so then one of my questions was like, why do we think Manon can so easily make Dorian come forward through the Valg Prince when no one else could? And I feel like that only makes sense if they're like mates or some sort of something. And that
There's
would
got to be a
also,
connection.
yeah, that would also explain the tug that she felt to go to Rifthold.
We did get sort of like an explanation, like a little bit, but it doesn't fully explain it. Of like the Valg are afraid a little bit of the golden-eyed witches, um, the like true Blackbeak descendants. They are
Oh
afraid of,
yeah.
and I don't know if we get an explanation fully for that in this book. I don't think so. That must come later. But some of it, I think, was the Valg in him was like afraid of her.
Okay, that makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
but that still doesn't explain the tug stuff. And right from the get go, when Dorian comes forward, um, rather than being like, "Oh my God, save me, kill me," he's like kind of flirting with her. So
I love Dorian so much.
yeah,
He's just always flirting.
yeah. Like the second he has control of his mouth, he's like, "Hey, gorgeous," whatever. Like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then we finally find out that Astrid was pregnant and the matron kind of like kept Astrid away from everyone while she was pregnant and kept her secret, told no one. Well, I don't know about like the other 13 knew, did they?
she said
Just
that
not Manon?
Sorrel and the twins, I think, had known because they were there.
Yeah.
Sorrel was like in the room or something when she gave birth. I don't know if all. I guess it's sort of presumed that all of the 13 know, except for Manon at this point.
Okay, yeah. And so then basically Astrid has her baby and it's stillborn. And in my mind, like I've heard some theories online, and we think that more from Akatar might be a witch because all of these connections with like iron and claws, and she's blonde and pretty, and she wears red a lot. And so in my mind, I'm like, what if her baby wasn't stillborn and the matron just made it seem like that, or just told her that she was stillborn, and this Astron's baby is actually more?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
Oh,
I
this
hope
is
I hope we figure something out like that. I want to know where more came from, and then also that would make sense because the witches aren't the witches like descended? Yeah, the witches are descended from the Fae and the Valg. The Fae and the Valg had babies, and they were the witches. And then if Rhysand is Valg because he's got the black hair and the purple eyes, black eyes, whatever, and these like powers that the Valg seem to have, and Rhysand and Mor are related, then we have that relation because Rhysand is somehow going to possibly be related to Maeve, who is Valg. We find out in the next books.
spoiler alert.
Um, but then so that would be really interesting to see.
Wow, I never would have thought of more being. That's really interesting. That's a good take. Ooh, I feel like I have to reread all of SJM's other stuff now, like after this,
Right.
just to find all of the connections close together. Maybe
I'm
I
not
should have
there.
been making a board while we were talking through the series.
Right? I wish I had space for like a huge like bug out board. I feel like it could be done on the internet, but I don't know. That'd be so much zooming in and zooming out. And
Yeah, I need it here, close
yeah,
by.
I need something physical. Okay, my next notes are at chapter 78.
Okay,
Okay, in this chapter is when Aelin and Dorian are fighting against the king, and the king kind of is able to beat the Valg inside of him and is telling Aelin and Dorian like what happened and whatnot. And I completely forgot this whole interaction happened. I also forgot that he is an Erewhon.
same. Yep,
For some
same.
reason, the king like was alive until the end of Kingdom of Ash. I completely forgot that it's Duke Parrington. I don't know how I forgot that the king died.
I remembered that he died, but I definitely thought that Erewhon was in him and then like moved or something. I forgot that Erewhon was in Parrington, and we get that nugget at the end of Queen of Shadows. It's just so sad when we find out that the king has been in there the whole time. Um, and he basically like sneakily was able to get magic gone because he was trying to protect Dorian and like
hmm
kind of slow down the Valg as much as he could, but it was to protect Dorian because he knew that Dorian would have powers, and so he was like, I'm just gonna make magic go bye-bye to give them one less avenue to find him.
Yeah. And it's so sad to think that like we have this one book where Dorian is under the influence of the Vogue and how like horrendous of an experience that was for him to know that Dorian's father has been going through this for like the last 30-ish years or something. I don't actually because they found Erewhon when they were kids, like teenagers or something, like early adults. Him and Duke Parrington were just like wandering and went into that tomb and was it Morath? Yeah. And they just like that's where it all started.
Yep,
Accidentally, maybe.
yep. They went into the tomb. Parrington got taken by Erewhon, and the king got taken by, it just says, one of his like underlings, basically. And so, I mean, and Dorian's entire life, his dad has been under this Valg influence, but he's
Yeah.
still been fighting. He's still in there. And we've seen these other people taken by the Valg who have only been, taken for a couple of months, and they're like begging for death.
Yeah, it's also I like what kind of magic does his dad have? Because how could he have survived for so long? Because
Yeah.
all of the other people, like Aelin, all of the people that she was rescuing or trying to rescue and whatever, like they were gone. The people that she killed in Wendlin or wherever, I can't remember, Mistward,
Yes.
wherever, like those people were close to being gone, if not already gone.
Hmm.
So that's a
Yeah.
really long time. Okay, a hot take. I don't know if Aelin would have won in this book without Caltain's help at Morath.
Seriously. Yeah.
Because Caltain took out so many creatures, and if Caltain had been used against her, I don't know.
Yeah. You got to feel really bad for Caltaine, but also just really appreciate her character arc because, yeah, what she does is pretty pivotal to the ending.
Yeah, it's very important. I feel like this entire series would not end how it ends without Keltane and the sacrifice that she made.
Yeah. And she was not only like all the stuff, all the parts of the army that she took out, but she was in a lead was like just about to be turned into a Valk too, or like
Yeah.
possessed by one. And she
Mhm.
narrowly like gets, basically saves a lead. Do we ever find out I don't know, but like a lead would have been used against them as well. And we find out a lead is a very pivotal character later on. So she saves her, she takes out a lot of the Valg army. Huge, huge influence.
Yes. Another connection, I don't know if this is intentional or accidental or if it means nothing at all. Aelin, when she is saving Adian, dresses up as a man named Cormac who
Right.
has red hair and green eyes and is part of Arobyn's family. I can't remember if it's like a cousin or something or a nephew, but we have a Cormac in Crescent City who has
Oh,
red hair also.
oh yeah.
And him and Bryce are supposed to get married or something like that. I know these are obviously not the same person,
Right.
but just like the name and the hair, I'm like, is there somehow a relation, like a descended relation of some sorts or something going on, or is this just completely random, completely unrelated?
She was like, "You have red hair. Your name should be Cormac."
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. That is all of my notes. Do you have anything else?
Um, let's see. I don't know why, but I made note of so the night we kind of glazed over this because I feel like most people that are going to talk about these books are going to talk about Arobyn's like whole death chapter. Like obviously it's great with the almond oil and how Rowan's wearing some and how that's a slap in the face, and then
Mhm.
Lysander being the one that kills him. Top tier. I forgot about like the dress that she's wearing, and it's black and breathtaking, but then it has this cool like I think it's like a dragon on the back
Yeah, I think like a
in
golden
gold.
dragon. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I made note of because they like make a specific point to say that there's like batwing combs in her hair, and I
Oh,
don't know. I felt like that was like a very Valaris sort of look too. So I don't know. That just felt like it could
yeah.
be like a little bit of foreshadowing subtly.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes. Let's see. One other thing I wrote down was I cried a little bit when the king comes forward for a second and he says like, "Have you come to save me at last, Aelin Galathinius?" My God,
Mhm.
that made me cry. And then Lysander turning into a ghost leopard and saving Rowan and Adian. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah. Mhm. It was. This I really like this book. I feel like it's really hard, but I think this might be my favorite. I don't know.
I like this one more the second time I read it. I feel like I kind of didn't give this one enough credit the first time I read these. Maybe just I went through them so fast, but I like this one just as much as Arrowfire, I think.
Yeah, I think probably same. I think I probably did not like it as much the first time because Rowan was missing for like the first half or whatnot. And I
Yeah,
just wanted more Rowan. But this is a
yes.
really good book. And I feel like the entire thing is just action, 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 and just super important information and like happenings. It's so good.
It's so good.
I am really excited to start the next two books. We are going to tandem read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. These books are massive though,
Yes.
so that's
So we have
gonna be
finished
a
yes.
journey.
Yes. So we have finished all of the novellas. So now we're gonna do the buddy read, and then we'll have the last episode will just be Kingdom of Ash by itself. The buddy read, how we're breaking it up, going chapter by chapter. That's something we could totally link in this video and the next one, in case anybody else is like, I wanna read those
Yeah.
jointly. Queen of Shadows star rating. I think we both 5. I think we're both out of 5, probably.
Yeah. Hmm.
Spice, you guys, this is a YA series. This one is also a 0 for Spice, but there is some like sexual tension building
A lot of
between
tension.
between a
I
few of the
was
characters, but
Yeah, I was actually kind of mad with Rowan for some of this, and then Adian had to step in and be like, you guys like each other. Everyone here can see it."
everyone knows except for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I also completely forgot. how slow burned these books were. For some reason,
Yes.
I definitely thought they were doing it in Queen of Shadows.
I mean, they
No.
are sleeping in the same bed with her being in, like, lingerie half the time they're in the same
Mhm.
bed together, but yep, nope, nope, no touchy.
I also just love how, like, a lead is sitting there being like, "I need to go to Aelin, I need to find Terrace, and this is what I need to do," and then Kaltain is literally like, "Here you go, since you're on your way," even though she doesn't
Yep,
know, but maybe she does know, I don't know. Kaltain's mysterious and dead now,
she
so we don't
is.
know.
We'll never know. The secret dies with Caltaine.
Mhm. Speaking of Kaltain, though, we've heard a lot of like theories about her. I don't think she's the Suriel anymore. I thought maybe that was like
Oh,
something that she could be because the Suriel likes cloaks, and Kaltain was given cloaks by Aelin and whatever, and that's the whole reason that Aelin is getting this stone back in the shred of cloak that Aelin had given Kaltain. So there were a lot of people theorizing online that Kaltain was just like reincarnated into like the Suriel or something and sent to a different world. But I don't know how that would even, like, work.
yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
so either. Do we think that, speaking of the multiverse, do we think that these universes are happening, like, simultaneously, or that there's, like, an order of events and one is happening before the other?
Just like how the Valg are speaking in Throne of Glass, I feel like they're not happening at the same times, and just, like, cause I don't think the Asteri are Valg.
Yeah, it seems like there's something else, that they're
Yeah,
not the same.
and then are the Valg defeated in Throne of Glass completely at the end?
I don't think so. I thought they just closed the doors. Do they?
And then
We'll have to check.
who were the bad guys in ACOTAR? Was there or was it just Hybern?
I think it's just Hybern, and then in Silver Flames, it's the other guys from the other continent who are wanting the 3 pieces of the trove.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out because there was a connection, I think I sent it in our group chat about these three and things happening in threes and a name of some sort. I'll have to like find that. But I think it whatever I cannot remember what it has to do with. It's a name or a word or something or a storyline. But anyways, it has to do with um, I don't know if it's like Greek mythology or just mythology of some sort, but it's pretty similar to like what SJM is writing. And it is theorizing that there's going to be like a greater issue, and all three of the worlds have to come together to like get rid of this greater issue. So now I'm like, is this Vogue? Are the Vogue the greater issue? Is it going to be the Princess of Hell? Like, who is the greater issue? Because the Asteri are gone, aren't they? Bryce defeated the Asteri.
I thought so. Yeah,
Yeah.
because she sent him
So.
into, like, a wormhole thingy.
Yeah, so maybe they're not gone. Maybe the wormhole is this world or ACOTAR since that's going to be the next book. We'll see, I guess.
Well, this has been bookmarked episode 4. We'll see you next time for Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn Buddy Read. I'm Kat.
I'm Taylor.
See you guys next time.